Let me go up there. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you all, and I love the majors I'm hearing. I love that it's a mix of men and women. Like, this is everything. I'm so proud of y'all. Yes.
Ask you a couple questions. So,
Go ahead.
first, how does abuse typically begin, and what are some early signs that are often overlooked?
So, like a lot of you were mentioning, and we saw, a lot of it is psychological first. It's the mental manipulation. It very rarely starts with a hit. Like, a lot of us are like, oh, if we get hit, we're done. But when it's gradual and it's like the love bombing comes into play and you feel that it's love, that is what makes most people not see the red flags, right?
What are some common misconceptions about domestic violence that you encounter most often?
So I think the biggest one that I keep replaying in my head is that it's not the insecure person that becomes a victim of domestic violence. It's not one size fits all what it looks like. It's not necessarily somebody that you would think is like, small and has a low self-worth. 1 in 3 women in their lifetime will experience intimate partner violence, and 1 in 4 men, which means it's an issue that affects many people, and it's not a one particular personality type. I think that's a big thing that we kind of see, and we're like, oh, they look like they would. Victims can look all kinds of ways. I've met therapists that were victims, police officers, like people you would not expect, because it's a lot is done behind the scenes.
Can emotional or psychological abuse be just as harmful as physical abuse?
Absolutely. Emotional abuse and psychological abuse are the foundation, like I said. So when it comes to harm, we're thinking of people that their reality has changed, their lives are changed, what they're thinking about and how they're viewing themselves while in that situation is altered. So it takes a long time post for people to even remember who they were before their abuse.
Mm-hmm. How do you think the legal system could do better with addressing domestic violence related issues, or do you think they're doing an adequate job?
Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you guys a quick situation. So part of my abuse story happened here in Dover, and part of that trauma came from the police not believing me the multiple times I've called. I've had police say in front of me, don't you know there's more important crimes happening right now? I've had police say in front of me to my abuser, sleep somewhere else tonight, come back tomorrow, she'll be over it. So I think that this dismissal that often happens from all kinds of sectors. So I was happy to hear some criminal justice majors in here because it's real. Like when we don't feel supported by systems that are supposed to protect us, and as Black people, we know that's different ways, that is a disservice. That's going to deter people from calling. So when the young lady said, don't hesitate to call the police, yes, please, because you still need those records. You still need to reach out. It was ultimately a female police officer and a female detective team that got me out of my situation. So that is important. And then legal system. Like, we know that it's hard to collect enough evidence to solidify a true long-term, like behind bars level offense, but still, there's a long way to go. And then also things like how the protective orders work, how you have to provide information, or how a lot of women that I support are actually incarcerated because they were arrested for attacking their abusers. So there's a lot that still needs to be fixed.
Many people ask, why don't they just leave? What do we need to understand
Yes.
about the complex barriers?
That's like the number one thing that you hear. Like as a survivor, I get that question a lot still to this day. Like, why didn't you just leave? Like, what made you stay? Why'd you stay so long? I was in my situation for a few years. They're like, why didn't you just leave? Like, couldn't you just go? Didn't you see in this? Well, there's a lot of things. There's the guilt that you feel. I also got pregnant in that situation. Then I suffered infant loss in that situation. Threats to your family, threats to your livelihood, again, the financial abuse, making me quit my job, coming to my job, harassing me when I got a new job. The levels, right? Getting me kicked out of college the first time. I had to go back to school 3 times to try and like get out of my situation. So it's layered, it's intimate, it impacts multiple layers of your life, and you don't know, what your next step always is when you're constantly hearing negative things.
And lastly, for me, what do you wish every person understood about domestic violence?
I think that I wish everyone understood that it is so common and that it can happen at any age and that it has long-term impacts. Like I was thinking as you guys were doing your activity, how when I started doing workshops and speaking after, I would literally be shaking because I was still healing from like the trauma response of like feeling small and not having a voice. And I had to go out of my comfort zone to even do things like this. And now I've done over like 100 workshops and I still get the jitters, but just that step to reclaim your voice, all of that, it's long term, right? You're dealing with it for a long time. And then the second part that is even more important to me is that there's happiness after, there's joy after, there's laughter after, there's love after. Like some people feel like they can't even have sex anymore after because of what they experience, but there's all of that. There's birth and kids and a career and all the things that you can possibly want, you can still get. Just how you get it may look different. Of course.